The chaos began with a single frame, a freeze shot from a leaked backstage video that was never meant to be seen by the public. It showed Heughan leaning in close to Caitriona Balfe during what looked like an unusually intense private conversation. The lighting was dim, their expressions serious, and the energy between them felt strangely intimate. Fans replayed the clip endlessly, convinced they had just witnessed something that had been hidden for years. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like #ForbiddenBond, #Sam and Kate, and #What Happened Backstage trended globally as millions tried to make sense of the moment. Theories poured in at lightning speed, with fan communities dissecting every pixel of the video. Even major news outlets joined the madness, calling the clip too intimate to ignore. People weren't just curious, they were shaken. Something about the moment felt like a secret cracking open. Almost immediately, fans dove into the archives of Sam and Caitriona's 12-year partnership. They revisited old interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, and red carpet appearances, searching for clues they might have missed. Suddenly, harmless gestures looked like hidden signals, and lingering glances seemed loaded with meaning. The fandom became a massive detective agency overnight. Everyone felt the need to decode what was really going on. The deeper they looked, the more undeniable the pattern became. Their connection had always been intense, almost too natural for co-stars who claimed to be just friends. On set, Sam often watched Caitriona with a protective softness that didn't look rehearsed. Caitriona leaned into him instinctively, her body language open and comfortable in a way that suggested long-standing emotional trust. People began to wonder if they were witnessing something that had simply never been named. Fans went all the way back to the beginning, to the moment Sam and Caitriona first met during auditions. A producer once revealed that the energy in the room changed instantly when the two read together. Their chemistry didn't build over time, it exploded the moment they locked eyes. Even the casting team exchanged surprised looks, as if they knew something rare had happened. That memory resurfaced with new weight. As the years passed, their bond only grew stronger and more visible. Behind-the-scenes footage showed them staying close even after emotional scenes ended. During interviews, their eyes often met with an unspoken understanding that felt deeper than scripted partnership. When one of them struggled, the other always stepped in, silently, instinctively, as if bound by something only they understood. Their connection didn't just look strong, it looked unbreakable. Moments that once seemed insignificant suddenly took on new meaning. Fans recalled an old clip of Caitriona appearing emotional at a promotional event, with Sam whispering something that made her smile through tears. At the time, it was dismissed as a sweet gesture between friends. Now, people questioned whether it was something more, a sign of a bond with boundaries neither dared cross publicly. The emotional tension seemed undeniable. The speculation intensified when a supposed insider posted a cryptic message online. They wrote, "People don't know the full story. There was a line they crossed once, long ago. It changed everything." That single sentence detonated the fandom. Overnight, thousands of people began crafting timelines, theories, and emotional analyses. The forbidden bond began to feel less like a rumor and more like a hidden chapter finally bleeding through the surface. Fans questioned what that line might have been. Was it a deeply emotional moment shared during the early seasons? Was it a confession, a promise, or something that pushed the boundaries of their professional relationship? No one knew, but the tension surrounding the mystery grew stronger. The more the internet speculated, the more impossible it became to ignore the weight of their connection. As the scandal escalated, media outlets added fuel to the fire. Tabloids labeled their chemistry dangerous. Blogs speculated that the truth could damage careers and relationships. International headlines suggested that the bond between Sam and Caitriona had always been more than professional. The narrative became darker, louder, and more intrusive. Silence only made things worse. Fans began comparing moments across different years, placing clips from 2014, 2016, 2019, and 2023 side by side. Shockingly, the intensity never faded. Their interactions remained emotionally charged, their eyes still soft, their smiles still warm. It looked like a bond that had survived time, distance, marriages, fame, and rumors. A bond that refused to weaken. The final spark came from a leaked audio snippet, allegedly from a crew member's private conversation. The voice said, "If people knew what really happened between them that night, they'd understand why it's forbidden." The audio didn't reveal the year or event, but the implications sent fans spiraling. Suddenly, the story wasn't just emotional. It felt explosive. By this point, the internet wasn't merely curious. It was desperate. Hungry for the truth behind what Sam and Caitriona had been protecting for over a decade. And just when it seemed the chaos couldn't grow any bigger, a new clue emerged. One that hinted the truth wasn't just personal or emotional. It was something far more dangerous, something neither of them ever expected to resurface. As the frenzy intensified, everyone waited for the truth to break, but what emerged next only deepened the chaos. A second anonymous insider stepped forward, claiming they had been present during a critical moment years ago that explained everything. Their message spread instantly. Their bond became forbidden the night they realized the world could never understand it. Those words shattered whatever calm remained online. People demanded details. The insider didn't reveal the specifics, but they described an atmosphere heavy with emotion, vulnerability, and an unspoken line being crossed. They insisted it wasn't romantic in the conventional sense, but something far more complex, a connection that blurred boundaries in ways neither Sam nor Caitriona expected. Fans went into full investigative mode, convinced they were closing in on the truth. Every past moment was reinterpreted through this new lens. Suddenly, the bond didn't feel like rumor anymore. It felt like revelation. The pressure built rapidly. Journalists chased publicists. Paparazzi hunted for reactions. Even cast members were asked about the forbidden bond during unrelated interviews. The silence from Sam and Caitriona became louder than any denial they could have given. The world wanted to know what happened, why was it forbidden, and why had it stayed hidden for so long. Every unanswered question felt like gasoline thrown onto an already raging fire. Caitriona, especially, found herself at the center of scrutiny. Because of her marriage, the rumors hit harder, weighing on her public image in ways she never anticipated. Old interviews resurfaced, clips of her emotional responses to Sam were dissected endlessly, and strangers built narratives around her private life. Those close to her said she was visibly stressed, exhausted from carrying the weight of a scandal she couldn't address. Meanwhile, Tony McGill became an unwilling character in a drama he never signed up for. Sam struggled in his own way. Known for protecting those he cares about, he watched helplessly as the internet twisted a decade of trust into something scandalous. He went quiet, not out of guilt, but out of the fear that any statement might worsen the situation. Fans noted he seemed distant in recent appearances, avoiding questions, smiling less, carrying something heavy behind his eyes. His silence felt protective, even sacrificial, and that only intensified speculation. Then, out of nowhere, a stunning twist surfaced. A former director who worked on early seasons gave a brief, cryptic comment during a Q&A. They said, "There was one night on set I'll never forget. Something changed between them. Not in a bad way, but in a profound way." After that, their connection was different. They refused to elaborate further, but the damage was done. The fandom erupted with theories about which night the director meant. People examined every emotional episode from season 1 and 2, narrowing it down to scenes that were notoriously draining. Some believed the turning point happened during a particularly raw emotional shoot, one that reportedly left both actors shaken. Others thought it occurred during late-night rehearsals where they worked through scenes alone. The speculation was endless, fueled by a desire to piece together a story that remained maddeningly incomplete. As the chaos peaked, Sam finally addressed the situation, indirectly. He posted a photo of himself standing on a quiet hillside, the caption reading, "Some truths are private. Some bonds aren't meant to be judged." The message was calm, almost poetic, but carried a subtle weight that fans immediately recognized. It wasn't a confession, nor was it a denial. It was a boundary, a gentle plea for understanding. Yet the internet wasn't ready to let it go. Hours later, Caitriona posted a message of her own. It was brief, thoughtful, and just cryptic enough to fuel another wave of speculation. Some connections shape who we become. Not all of them can be explained. That was all she wrote. The fandom erupted again, convinced her words were directly linked to Sam's post. The two messages felt like pieces of a puzzle only they understood, leaving the world desperate for the missing details. But then came the moment that shifted everything. The reveal that stunned even the most dedicated followers. A final insider clarified what forbidden truly meant. They explained that it wasn't about romance, infidelity, or taboo love. It was about an emotional bond formed under extreme pressure, a connection that became almost too powerful. They had relied on each other through one of the hardest periods of their careers, leaning into a depth of trust that blurred the line between partnership and something more intimate. The world had mistaken emotional truth for scandal. The revelation changed the entire narrative. For the first time, people understood why Sam and Caitriona had spent years protecting this bond from the public eye. It wasn't a secret affair. It was a vulnerable chapter of their lives, shared between two souls who carried each other through fame, criticism, exhaustion, and overwhelming expectation. A chapter too sacred to be dissected. In the end, the chaos didn't vanish. But there was a shift, an acceptance that some connections defy labels. Some stories aren't meant to be sensationalized. And some bonds, no matter how misunderstood, are built on truth the world will never fully grasp. The question that lingered wasn't what happened, but why they fought so hard to protect it. And perhaps that was the real explosive truth all along.